Talk about change. It's been exciting to see classrooms equipped with cameras and monitors. Learning technologies increasingly are critical to what everyone does in K-12 and higher education.
These new classrooms allow HyFlex teaching. That is, a hybrid approach to simultaneously teach some students physically in the classroom and others joining remotely on Zoom.
The HyFlex classroom provides amazing possibilities for remote learning, but it also requires training and practice.
Teaching in HyFlex is similar in some ways to live television. The performer needs to connect with a live audience, while at the same time understanding how people across the world watching on screens experience the program. The instructor must decide when and how to share slides, who appears on what screen, what camera remote viewers will see. They also have to manage the stream of conversation coming from the classroom and remote students.
It can be a lot to handle, but it's more than worth it. With a little practice and training, fantastic results are possible. Let's get to it. HyFlex offers some challenges and opportunities for instructors. First of all, it's a fantastic opportunity to open access to remote learners who are not there with you. But it offers some challenges in terms of mastering the technology. It takes practice, and training in specific rooms is key for you to get there.
So the HyFlex classroom has a few basic elements to it. First of all are the cameras. They're able to shoot many different angles, whether that's a wide shot, maybe showing the full room with the students in it and the presenter, or a tighter shot on just the presenter, or maybe just the blackboard if the instructor wants to key into a specific thing that's on the blackboard. There's also the monitor or monitors in some cases that show the remote students, especially if you're using the gallery view in Zoom. It's a great way to show everybody who is learning online.
Now, getting started with the room training, the first thing you have to do is get the keys to open the podium, then turn on your camera, turn on your monitors, and remember to clip your microphone to your shirt.
Now, when it comes to the camera and communications in room, there's a few things to keep in mind. First of all, you as the instructor chooses the camera angle. So if you are doing a long presentation where it's really just you talking for a while, you may want the camera to be in more of a tight shot on you as the presenter. If it's something where it makes more sense to show the whole class, maybe people are raising hands, maybe you want a wider shot, but you get to select what is being shown.
Now, what's the job for remote students in all of this? First of all, you want to encourage them all to have their cameras on whenever possible, so there's a sense that they're really in the classroom with you. But make sure that they keep themselves muted unless they're actually presenting or speaking on something relevant to the class, so we don't have too much background chat. The instructor or the TA can also spotlight individual remote students or multiple while they're talking during presentations or when they're answering or asking questions.
Eduarda begins her HyFlex class session by arriving early to set up the room. Using the key provided, Eduarda opens the podium, turns on the computer and monitors, checks room cameras and microphones, and finds and attaches her own wireless microphone.
Welcome to our Public-Private Partnerships class. We're going to be reviewing today the material we sent you beforehand in our pre-recorded lectures. And we're going to be running this as a HyFlex classroom, which means we're going to be joined by students all over the world.
As she begins the class, Eduarda is careful to stand where one of the built-in room cameras can see her clearly.
And for the students joining us remotely, please turn on your cameras if possible.
By having both in-person and remote students turn on their laptops' cameras, all students can see and interact with each other. By having the monitors in the room display the gallery view from Zoom, the in-person students and Eduarda can see the whole class as a group. When Eduarda shares her PowerPoint, it's seen by both the students in person in the classroom and those joining remotely.
Now, for our first example, for our water and wastewater system in Cartagena, we had a situation where the government had combined public resources.
When the time comes for class discussions, it's important for the instructor Eduarda to address questions to both those physically in the room and those joining on Zoom.
All right, so now let's get started to the discussion portion of our class. And I'm very curious to ask you, what do you think are the main challenges for PPPs in your own perspective? Aiden, do you want to go first?
I just have a question between who provides the service and who provides the funding. It seems like it's a tricky relationship to strike a balance with. So I'm just wondering how you establish the relationship between the public partner and the private partner, and where, how you mitigate this relationship between government organizations and private firms.
With care and attention, a lively discussion can take place involving all participants.
So Aiden, that was a really good question, but before I answer, I think Bruna has another one to add.
Thank you, Professor, and I definitely agree with Aiden that the balance between public sector and private sector can be very tricky. PPPs have certainly been criticized for the fact that they mix public and private money, and that opens the door to self-dealing and corruption. So my question on top of Aiden's questions is, how can you structure PPPs to avoid this problem?
As the students who are physically in the classroom also have their laptop cameras turned on, when they speak, the remote students can see them clearly. Another powerful tool that can be used in HyFlex classrooms is Zoom's polling feature.
All right, everyone, so now we're going to start launching some polls for you to answer.
Questions can be created and launched quickly that relate to current class material and answered both by those in class and remote. The combined class answers can then be shared with the group. This provides a prompt for further discussion and interaction, which can take place within the wider class or in separate breakout rooms.
We hope this overview has offered a useful introduction to active learning wherever, whenever, and however you teach.